Hey guys, welcome back, and as you can see, we are back together for a couple of days here and just kind of discussing the last few videos that we've been putting out and what we're planning for the future as well for Summit Mentorship. And so our last few videos, we've really focused a lot on consistency and discipline and just not just in things we do, but in the way we think, in our actions, and creating new routines and things like that. So our last few videos are focused on that. And James, I guess you have kind of about a week now, you've been trying to start a new routine and try to take this idea of self-discipline to a whole nother level. So tell us a little about what you're doing.
Yeah, so, and real quick, we're starting up a lot of different things here at Summit. So if you haven't already, go ahead, subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and like this video because, again, when you like a video, it really does help with the analytics, help spread it out to more and more people, and it really does help grow the channel. So if you haven't already, subscribe, like, and of course, comment as to some of the things you'd like to see next. But one of the things, I'm working on right now is I've picked up a whole new morning routine of waking up at 4:30 a.m. every morning, no matter what. And when I say no matter what, I really do mean it. We drove 5 hours to come all the way here to Currituck this weekend, and I still woke up at 4:30 this morning. We driving 5 hours back. I'm still going to be waking up 4:30 tomorrow. I want to try and make sure I do this for 31 days, so every day of this month. Now, of course, why am I doing it, right? That's the big question. Why am I waking up at 4:30? I mean, I'm not really known as being much of a morning person.
I vouch. I can vouch.
Normally I'll be waking up at 7 if I'm lucky sometimes and just dragging through the day for the most part. But I'm doing this for a couple reasons. So one, we're going to be doing kind of video series where I'll be taking on a different kind of challenge that a lot of successful people have actually done. So for this particular challenge, if you haven't already heard of him, his name is Jocko Willinks. He's an ex-Navy SEAL, public speaker, some amazing speeches out there, some good TED Talks, as well as a book writer. Has about 3 books as far as I know of. At least that's 3 books I have and I'm going through right now. And he talks very much about waking up at 4:30 a.m., especially having an early morning routine. And the way he's always described it is the idea of start your day with a victory. Start your day with a victory, and when you do that, it will propel you through the rest of your day. So, as someone who's never really had much of much of an urge to wake up at 4:30 a.m., I figured this would be a good one to start at, right? Something that's totally different to what I normally do, and something that I think it'd be interesting to kind of see how my body adapts, to be honest. And so far, it's been pretty good. I won't spoil everything because we'll have a video coming out around mid next month. That way we can get it all put together and kind of get all the information together. But I think so far for the first week, it's been great. And again, there's a lot of importance as to why I feel doing these challenges like this can actually be effective. So we talked about David Goggins before. That was like one of the first video series that we did on this channel, actually, which was your, what was it? How far did you run?
It was 51K, a little over. It went 32.2 miles.
While going over David Goggins' book. And if you haven't already checked that video out, there'll be a link above. Go ahead, click that, check it out. This whole series, it's really good information. But David Goggins talks about the idea of callousing your mind, right? And that's the big thing. We always joked about how much he mentions callousing your mind. And what he always said was, do something that sucks every day. Because when you sit there and go through some type of adversity, it makes it so when you hit some serious problems, your mind already knows how to adapt. If you can wake up at 4:30 a.m. every single morning when you're not used to it, and you're starting your day off again with that victory, you're doing something you've never done before, and you're getting your mind to a point where it's getting used to having to overcome some kind of challenge. We talk a lot about the fact of a lot of stuff that people think they can't grow and they can't develop. A lot of things that you go, well, we're born this way, whether it be something like creativity or imagination. The reality is the more you work it, the better it gets, no matter almost what it is. The same thing comes with how we deal with adversity and how we deal with anxiety and things like that. And as someone who, back when I was in high school especially, I dealt with anxiety terribly. I was always anxious. I couldn't get in front of maybe 2 or 3 people, and I'll be talking like this, mumbling, not being able to say anything at all. You can develop these skills over time if you're willing to push yourself. So this next kind of video series that we're going to be doing, I'll be going over a couple different challenges, and this is the first one, waking up at 4:30 every morning and just starting my day off on a similar schedule as to him. So I'll be starting my day off at 4:30 with a warm-up routine, either going on a run or a walk or doing one of the exercises that he recommends in his book, and just kind of seeing where it leads.
So we did, you may have noticed on the channel, at least on our Facebook page. So also, if you haven't joined us there too, we have the Summit Mentor Facebook group. But we, at least I do, I put a lot of the sunrises coming up over the water. So this morning we actually got to share the sunrise together, and we were talking about how the first week had gone and getting up early, because it isn't something that you were accustomed to doing.
Not at all.
But so much of what we've talked about so far and what we plan to talk about with you through our book studies and other things that are coming is just, again, it's about both personal and professional growth. And growth happens outside of the comfort zone. Yeah. So a big part of these challenges is just keeping you outside of your comfort zone so that you can stay in the growth zone.
Exactly.
Right? So And we also had talked about how once you start to see discipline in one area of life, you start to see discipline in other areas. So I know it's been a short time, but have you noticed any other changes within a week of having a routine that's steady every morning, a get up routine and get started routine?
So I noticed a couple changes, but I think there's one point I do want to mention here. There's a reason why I'm choosing to do this for a whole month and not a week. So I looked up other videos online of some things that people have done with some of these type of challenges. I noticed they're all for about a week, and I kept thinking, if I go to a gym for the first time in a year and only go for a week, at the end of the week, all I'm going to tell you is how sore I feel, right? I'm not going to be able to have any positive results to really share. That's why I want to do this challenge for a month, because I want to get past that growth pain, right? I want to get past that growing pain. I want to get to a point where I can really start seeing the changes. However, with that said, I have noticed a few changes in the first week, one of which is productivity. I mean, I wake up at 4:30 a.m., I can go ahead and get my workout in. I can go ahead and relax a little bit, just kind of unwind after the workout and just kind of sit there. And, normally in my morning, I'll take too long checking Facebook, doing all that stuff. A lot of stuff a lot of us do, right? Well, if I go on a walk and I can listen to a podcast or whatever I'm doing, what I normally would do at 9 o'clock, well, now what happens at 9 o'clock? Now I can start being more focused with work. Another thing is I'm probably now eating healthier because I now have time to actually make breakfast instead of just grabbing whatever the first thing I can see is, or, even worse, skipping breakfast entirely. So, right now I've been, making like steak and eggs every morning, and I've been loving that. I love my steak and eggs. But, I've been having good breakfasts, so I've been eating already healthier. I've been feeling almost more energy through my day. I've had a couple of days where it's been a little difficult around lunchtime, but for the most part, I've been feeling great with it. So I'll be really interested to see kind of at the end of the month where I'm at. And one thing I can already say is, I'm really enjoying it. I'm actually really enjoying the process right now.
And so you're starting to see changes even after just a week. We're expecting some bigger changes after a month.
Yep.
And obviously once you go to that month level and beyond, these things really start to stick. So is the goal to make this, and Russell makes the appearance on the video, I saw him up there. Is the plan to make this a permanent routine?
I haven't decided yet.
So it is still new.
I want to see where it's at, because I'm still having to try to figure out what my sleep schedule kind of is going to be. In the past, I'm for the most part, I'm a night owl. My wife will tell you I'll be up at like 11 o'clock at night, still editing, still working on different things. I like usually working at night, so changing that schedule up and having to go to bed earlier, waking up earlier, it doesn't feel entirely natural yet. However, I have to say I do think I'm more productive in the morning than I am at night. So I'm not sure if I'm going to stick to 4:30. I most definitely think I will stick to a earlier wake up time than I was in the past. But who knows? Maybe by the end of the month, my body, that's circadian rhythm will start kind of coming into play, and I'll just naturally want to start waking up at 4:30 more and more, and eventually my just biological clock will just say 4:30, time to get up. So we'll see by the end of the month. But I think so far, the benefits so far to waking up in the morning have been pretty noticeable, and I'm going to be really interested to kind of see where it's going to be towards the end of the month.
So this is an interesting thing, and having watched this guy kind of grow up and understanding. I mean, this is a guy that even sitting in the deer stand together, I would have to wake him up to take the shot that was there before him. So the fact that I don't know
how the deer showed up with him snoring.
So the fact that he's getting up and getting started and trying this challenge of all the ones we talked about possibly choosing. This probably would have been the one I would have least expected you to choose. And
what I will say, and for anyone out there who wants to try a challenge like this at some point, setting up a time frame for how long you're going to be doing this challenge for. So, I've been posting every now and again saying, hey, I'm on day 7 of 31 because I'm doing it for the full month. And when I have that set time, it almost forces me to hold myself accountable, right? Because I now know that I want to hit this amount of days in a row, and I'm going to make sure I do it. If I just said I'm going to change my entire life like that and just say I'm going to start waking up at 4:30 without saying that overall goal, and we talk about the importance of goal. What's your why is what you went over in one of the earlier videos. Having that why for me right now is, of course, for one, this video that we're making about this kind of challenge and changing up maybe your morning routines and how that affects you. But even just having that time frame of saying, okay, for 31 days I'm going to try it. And I remember I heard from Jordan Peterson when he talked about switching his diet. He goes with the all meat, complete, just all steak and water. And that's all he does is steak and water. And he talked about it when he first heard about it. He said, well, I could do anything for 30 days. Well, for 31 days, I can get up at 4:30. And if I don't like it by the end of 31 days, then I'll switch out of it. So saying that time frame for yourself can actually really help motivate you to get out of bed. It gives you a reason, and multiple philosophers talk about having a reason to get out of bed. Just having that time frame and knowing that this is a challenge that I want to get done, that already gives me more motivation to get out of bed than almost anything else has.
So we've got the why. We talked about when we're creating a new habit, and the 3 parts of what a habit is really made of. There's the cue or the trigger. Yep. Then there's the activity, which is kind of the response to the cue or the trigger, and then there's the reward. So knowing going in, if you're trying to create a new habit of any kind, knowing going in, what is the reward, what is the overall payoff. But there's a couple of things that you've done. In your video that you talked about creating a work environment, you talked about basically setting cues so that you understand that when you get to that room, it's for work.
Yep.
So along with this challenge, you said that you're doing certain things like making sure that you're certain alarms, you've got your stuff ready to go for the early workout. So you've got the cues and the triggers to get you in the right mindset right away.
I am, and one thing is that Jocko Willinks talked about and in his book was immediately once you wake up, leave the room. Like don't stay in that room any longer than you have to. Once you get up, leave the room, because instantly that trigger is going to be in your head of the bed's here. It's dark in here. Obviously, I'm married. My wife does not want to wake up at 4:30. I can't just turn on the lights in the bedroom. So if I stay in that room for too long, I'm going to have the urge, of course, to go right back to sleep. Exactly. So I'm laying out my change of clothes, and luckily, we have 2 bathrooms in the house. So I'd lay it out in the other bathroom. I go over there and change instead and get ready. That way I'm just away from everything. And again, I can instantly turn on all the lights, go ahead and start my day. Just go ahead and get some water in me to kind of wake me up and all that.
And you said having those things pre-laid out so that you kind of create your own cue and your own trigger. It's a cue, it's a trigger for the mindset switch.
And it's amazing when you actually think about it, because when you wake up, you don't even think about the fact that, I got to get my clothes, I got to get ready and all that stuff. But really, when we're trying to procrastinate a lot of times, it's those little things we're really procrastinating. We know that I really don't want to get up and look for my pair of shoes. I don't know where I sat them yesterday or last night. And those little things like that actually do have an effect. They really do. When you sit there and actually have everything laid out, ready to go, and you wake up, you instantly know, go here, grab the clothes, put them on, go do this, go do that. I not only have my clothes laid out, I even have the exact cup of water I'm going to fill up in the morning. And I have it sitting right next to the sink for me to fill up in the morning. And I know exactly what I'm going to do once I get out of bed. And that's another thing, having that, knowing what you're going to do once you get out of bed has already really helped.
So you have everything overall. You have everything set up. You've got the routine that triggers your mindset, and then you've got the things also so that it makes the routine easier.
Yep.
And then the reward is, number one, you knew your why going in, you knew your purpose, so you know you're going for your purpose.
Exactly.
But there's also that reward in this case of the endorphins and things that you get for getting up and getting straight into the exercise. So for most of us, and probably for a lot of you watching this, what we have to break is that if we're going to start an early morning routine, for example, we might have to break that habit of hitting the snooze button and taking that extra 9 minutes, and then the snooze button and taking that extra 9 minutes.
Don't ever hit the snooze button.
Or even if you don't hit the snooze button, the first response is just to pick this thing up and start just looking, and all of a sudden 45 minutes or an hour is gone, and you wasted the entire time.
I've had to actually make that change a little bit. When I was waking up during the first 2 days, I would sit down on my couch in the living room and just go, well, I'll just check on the news real quick, see what's happened, and next thing I know, I'll go, I've already been sitting down for 30 minutes.
And so, and all companies that have good marketing are pretty smart. Tech companies in particular are really good understanding trigger and response and reward, because they understand that seeing a like or seeing something that you get that immediate good feeling, that's the reward for doing it, and you go back, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so in order, if you're going to start and create a new habit like this one, you're going to have to overwrite some pretty hard-coded programs that are inside of your brain.
Yeah.
And so anything you can do to set up, like you just said ahead of time, those cues and triggers to get your mindset where it needs to be. If it's putting blockers on the phone, whatever it is, be prepared to do it, because this whole idea is again what we're trying to help you do, and what we're trying to do ourselves is to keep ourselves in the uncomfort zone, the discomfort zone, which is where we grow. We cannot grow within our comfort zone. We have to get outside to grow. So I'll be excited to see where this challenge takes us. We'll get back together in a few weeks then and wrap this up and see where it was and see what the new challenges are going to bring.
Yeah, and I'm really excited for it. I already have a couple more challenges laid out for a couple more months. I know I shared them with you. I'll hold off a little bit till we get a couple things figured out. They're going to be pretty interesting, though, I can tell you that. But
we had the one more physical challenge we were going to do together a couple of weeks ago, but I told you in the last video I fell down a flight of stairs. So our difficult hike and that video just didn't come to pass. So if you're wondering why, for the first time since we started doing this, we went a week without a video, it was because I fell down a flight of stairs. But
it was pretty funny, I'm not going to lie.
It was not funny at all. Still not funny. I still haven't been able to run right, so it's not funny. But I will say this. Right before I fell down the stairs, he tripped, and I laughed really bad, and so it was like instant karma, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Except it was not proportional whatsoever. But anyway, this is fun. But we got more exciting challenges and things that we're going to do. We're going to do our best to keep bringing you the content from those. How about some last words for you about the challenge or anything else?
I mean, I'll just say for everyone out there, I'm telling you, if you haven't, try to find something that's difficult and just set a time frame and just try it out. It is amazing the benefits it has on the mind, especially when you start really pushing yourself beyond a point. Again, Jocko Willinks, the person who we're kind of modeling this particular challenge off of, he talks about the idea of, again, getting up in the morning early every single time is a success. And the reality is, when you're doing any type of challenge like this, anytime you're making a change in your life, a change in your routine, any type of change whatsoever, every little step you take is a success, right? So for this particular challenge, waking up every morning, you start your day with that victory. You start your day with that rush.
And that is the dopamine burst that you get, the endorphin burst that you get is from knowing that, hey, I got to win right off the bat this morning.
Exactly. It gives you that great rush of just feeling like, hey, I've accomplished something, right? It's like every single time I see anyone out there hit the like button on any of our videos, it makes me feel great. I get that big endorphin rush. So if you want to help out, of course, again, like the video, subscribe to the channel, because we have a lot of great videos coming out next. And again, you don't want to miss this challenge video that we'll be having up again sometime around middle of next month. So till then, we will see you soon. And everyone out there, we'll be looking forward to seeing you in some of our next videos.
See ya.